The August 12, 2015, the City of Missouri City Planning and Zoning Commission meeting is called to order. Excuse me. We do have a quorum present on tonight. We have Mr. O'Malley, Mr. Haney, myself, Sonia Brown Marshall, Mr. Brightwell, Mr. Parker, and Mr. Goff. And the reason why I'm saying the names on tonight is because our beloved Nancy is out, and so tonight we have Maria sitting in. Okay? All righty. Our commissioners that are absent on tonight will be Commissioner Gaspar, Ms. Rose, Courtney Rose, and Mr. Hanaj. Ramesh. All righty. Is there a motion that we accept the July 8, 2015 meeting minutes?
So moved.
It's by Haney. Is there a second?
Second.
By Parker. All in favor? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Thank you.
I didn't make the motion.
I made the motion.
Brightwell made the motion.
I know, but you abstained, right?
I abstained, but you said that I made the motion, sorry.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Brightwell made the motion. Who was the second?
I second.
Parker. Okay.
Blame it on the heat, Sonia.
It's hot, yeah. Mr. Haney abstained. And then all others were in favor. All right, thank you. Reports. I have no report. Are there any reports of the commissioners?
No report.
No report.
Thank you. Staff reports. Director of Development Services.
Three things, and I will be very brief on the three. First, there should have been an item on your agenda tonight to elect your officers, because it's that time of year again, and because Nancy wasn't here, we forgot to include it. So that'll be on your next agenda, because I've already put it there. The second thing, Maria is our very capable city secretary. If you do not know our city secretary, we're blessed to have her with us tonight, so we'll get this right. I'm sorry, it's four things. Third thing, very important, Nancy is to return on Monday. Yay. And let me give you a little bit of a tease. I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but I attribute it to your hard work on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and to the City Council's hard work, and to the staff's hard work in developing rules and regulations that concern the appearance of our community. If you attend Monday night's City Council meeting, or if you keep up with the HOA releases that our communications department puts out, you will find out that Missouri City has been honored significantly and uniquely in this part of the state. So just next month I'll give you a much better story on that, but I have to tell City Council before I can tell you. I'm just giving you a tease on it.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. Is there a planning representative? No. Okay, thank you. Anyone from City Engineering? Not tonight?
He's still next door in a meeting with
Okay.
the Infrastructure Design Committee.
All right. Well, thank you. This is an opportunity for the public comment. It's an opportunity for the public to address. Oh, well, hold on. Hello, Mr. Upton.
I apologize.
That's
for
okay.
another meeting.
Sir, do you have a report tonight?
I do not, ma'am, except I'm out of breath.
Okay, well, take your time. Slow down, slow down. Okay, thank you, sir. I'm sorry. This is an opportunity for the public to address the Planning and Zoning Commission about matters that are not on the agenda. Is there anyone present that would like to speak? Thank you, seeing none. We'll move on now to the plats, which is item 6A, the consent agenda. 1, we'll consider approval of a revised concept plan for Stone Brook at Riverstone. 2, consider approval of a preliminary plat for Waters Lake Boulevard, Section 1, street dedication. 3, consider approval of a preliminary plat for Waters Lake Boulevard, Section 2, street dedication. And 4, consider approval of a final plat for Pebble Creek at Riverstone, Section 1. Is there a motion that we adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Maybe.
Haney. Brightwell. Okay, all in favor? That motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, the zoning map amendments. A, this is a public hearing for a zoning map amendment to receive comments for or against a request by the City of Missouri City on behalf of the Quail Valley Utility District to rezone an approximate .9478 acre tract of land from R2 Single Family Residential District to CF Community Facilities District. I believe we have Jennifer.
We do. Having a wrong button towards the pros, so.
I forgot to ask.
So this is actually a city-initiated rezoning on behalf of the Quail Valley Utility District. Everyone, I think, is familiar with the Utility District's office on Cartwright. It's been there for some years. They have recently purchased the property to the west of their office, and that property for a long time was used as a child care facility. The zoning on that property is R2, which is the same as Quail Valley North, the subdivision that wraps around the utility district's property and this property. So what the city is looking to do is, since the utility district has acquired the tract, to rezone the property to CF, which is our Community Facilities District, to accommodate the utility district's public use of the property. The caveat, as you know, the commissioners are probably aware, is the utility district is a subdivision of the state. And so we are trying to work cooperatively with the utility district in terms of aligning the zoning for the tract with the use of the tract, which would be for public use. So the city is moving this forward to rezone the property. At this point, the utility district has some general plans. They're not concrete. And so in your packets are included a demolition plan, which is a possible demolition plan. It's not in stone that would happen. But the demolition plan shows the possibility of the existing single-family structure that was used for the child care facility, removing that and removing some of the pavement that exists on the site today. And then there's also a drainage plan that's included in your packets, and it shows potentially the district being able to connect their driveway to and provide greater access to their existing office. As you can see on both the demolition plan and the drainage plan that we have available, the vegetation screening, all of that should remain largely intact. And that is what our expectation would be. I think that it serves an interest in order for the utility district to maintain some of those areas. So it's a positive recommendation because the city is initiating this rezoning, but I will, if the commission has any questions, I'm here to answer those as well.
So what's the zoning of the existing building?
The existing utility district, their site is CF, Community Facilities.
Because in the report, when I first read it, I thought it sounded like you weren't sure what to pick.
No.
Okay.
CF. Community Facilities is the district that we use to identify public uses. Some public parks are zoned that way. The public facilities that the city owns carry that designation, the golf course.
Golf course was a city.
Right. So it's not a commercial district, it's not a residential district, it's for public purposes.
So this was formerly Oak Point Academy, right?
It used to be
Okay.
the child care facility.
Jennifer, did you want to touch a little bit on the driveway?
The connection,
She said they're thinking about it.
They're
but
thinking about
nothing's-
This is not the
Nothing.
plan.
nothing's,
Okay, it's not,
Nothing's in concrete or less than concrete.
That would be handled, we'd look at that on the traffic side.
okay.
Well, so when they demo the house and everything, they're basically gonna, I assume, until later on, they're gonna turn most of it into, I guess, back into grass. They'll have to stabilize it.
Yeah, the only plan we have are for the driveway. So if the house was demolished, the only plan we have is that, the drainage plan. So the footprint of where the house was,
Yeah.
the footprint of where that house was, there possibly would be pavement for the driveway, connection.
One thing this gives the opportunity for, and I'll trust the city engineer will back me up on this, the driveway that currently exists serving that facility is too close to a bridge, and it makes for an undesirable location to enter and exit Cartwright. It would give an opportunity to make that a safer stretch of roadway.
It's tough to pull in.
Very difficult.
It gives them that traffic movement to get off safely, and we have that issue if you do have to deliver your water bill there. You do have a difficult time making a left turn coming out, trying to shoot the gap and then have a visibility potential with the bridge and the K-rails on the bridge. This by moving down, allowing that to be an entrance in and then maybe an exit out onto the street down a little bit and have a true left turn there would be more beneficial, but we'll continue to look at that as they come through.
But they do have the potential to turn that into more maintenance barn.
Yes, and parking as well. Parking's a big issue as well for customers.
Does anyone else have any questions of Jennifer? Well, as this is a public hearing, if there's anyone in the public that would like to step to the podium and speak, we'd like to hear from you. Hi, would you state your name and your address?
I'm Dan Richardson. I live at 2502 West Pebble Beach. I'm right across the street from the property. My concern is that changing that, it's a nice green space right now. Trees, it's a nice entrance to the neighborhood. And if we keep whittling away, changing designations on our neighborhood over generations, we're just going to end up like having Long Point in Houston, where it's nothing but a bunch of, just a mess over time. I would like to conserve these things and not see these properties taken over like this. I think if the utility has need for space, they should maybe relocate to a more justified commercial district from the neighborhood. It's too bad that the city didn't think about buying this property and just turning it into green space as they did with the golf course. So that's my concern, is that we're going to lose that. And the lighting issue is another issue that I have with them. The current building, the facility that we have, they have lighting on that building that is, it blasts into the neighborhoods. My living room window gets that light every night. There's no control on the lights on the existing facility. They just blast the neighborhood every night. That's another issue. I think that could be handled by putting some screens on those or aiming them down into the lot. But anyway, I really would not like to see this thing develop into something else. Once they get the approval, who's to say that they could come back later and say, well, we want to take all these trees down and we want to expand our warehouse out back and we want to do this and this now that they have approval on the land to move it forward in another direction. So my fear is that it will keep morphing into something else over time.
Understood. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak? Is there a motion that we close the public hearing?
So moved.
Okay, that's by Mr. Gall. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. All in favor? Thank you.
So Jennifer, what do you think about that? If they wanted to put a metal building, big lights, more tractors and pumps?
I think my understanding is that we have a cooperative relationship with the utility district. And so I think that it's in their interest as well as ours, not to create, and even with the removal of vegetation, this is the utility district that manages, the drainage and utility systems out there. So it's also in their interest to preserve as much vegetation as possible. So I think that the relationship that we have with this particular district, I don't anticipate, that we'll run into an issue that we can't discuss and come to an agreement that works for both the city as well as the district. So is it possible that they'll expand their plans? Yes. But I think that it's something that we would have to work through with the district at that stage.
But if they had the desire, we would just be an advise and consent role. They're not bound by our
Right.
rules and regs.
No.
It's
Just like the school
Right.
district.
Right,
It's just a cooperative,
Good point, John.
understood relationship.
right.
Yeah.
But, and again, we have a positive relationship with this utility district. So if history serves us well, then we should move forward with that same type of relationship and be able to address some of those concerns. And I did speak with the gentleman about the lighting, and that's an issue that we can discuss with the utility district as well and figure out a solution for that.
Thank you.
And with that, I'd like to make a positive recommendation.
Okay, that's a motion from Mr. O'Malley.
Second.
And a second from Mr. Haney. Is there any further discussion?
Well, one more question was, so they own the property, and this rezoning is almost a formality, isn't it? I mean,
They purchased the property last fall.
yeah, so,
So the use of the property, they're able to do based on their powers, their authority to do.
All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Item 7B. It's a public hearing to receive comments for or against a request by Judy Feinstein of the Town Creek School for a specific use permit to allow the continued use of an educational place of assembly and for the location of a temporary building to accommodate school programs.
Good evening. This is a request for a specific use permit to allow for the continued use of an educational place of assembly and for the location of a modular building to temporarily accommodate school programs. As you can see on the ortho map, subject site is located along Williamsburg Lane to the north of Service King, south of Houston Metropolitan Seventh Adventist Church, to the west of Township Square Shopping Center, and east of La Quinta Inn and Suites. The subject site currently includes the Town Creek School, which has been in operation since the early 80s and would be considered a non-conforming use without an SUP. Also, the applicant is considering to expand the existing facility and hence is seeking to locate a temporary modular building to accommodate school programs until the expansion project is complete. The proposed building, the applicant has indicated that the proposed modular building would be used under a lease agreement with the manufacturer and is to be strictly temporary. So there are two aspects to this SUP application. One is the use aspect of it, and second is locating and using a modular building. In terms of allowing the existing use to continue as an educational place of assembly, staff finds that the proposed SUP is in conformance with Goal 2.2 and Goal 2.3 of the comprehensive plan, which is to focus on more varied development, to move beyond the bedroom community image, and to focus on neighborhood integrity and commercial redevelopment as the community continues to mature. The proposed modular building does not comply with the requirements of Section A of the zoning ordinance, which is the architectural design standards. Section 7A prohibits the use of temporary buildings, except those that are used as a construction trailer. Also, the proposed modular building does not meet the minimum requirements of primary material usage and the use of a visible pitched roof or architectural element. The proposed modular building is to be located to the rear of the existing school building within a fenced backyard. That's what the applicant has indicated, and they've provided a conceptual site plan showing the location of the proposed modular building, which is here, and you have that included in the packet. And some additional details have been provided this morning, which was provided to you just before the meeting. It includes some pictures of the proposed building and some other details of the modular building. The building is approximately 15 feet high and 1,598 square feet in area. Staff finds that the proposed modular building can be located in such a way that it is adequately screened from the street and adjacent properties by fence, landscaping, and the existing school building. So therefore, staff recommends the approval of the SUP to allow the continued use of the existing facility as an educational place of assembly. Staff recommends approval of the location of the proposed modular building contingent upon it being screened adequately from the public street as well as adjoining property. And also, staff further recommends that a time frame of 5 years be put on the on locating and using the modular building on subject site. The applicant is here tonight, and if you all have any questions for me or the applicant, we can
Thank you so much. Real good report.
So the proposed addition, the future addition, I can't figure out where it is on the site plan. Or is it on the site plan?
It's not on the site plan, actually. There's a separate plan that was provided which indicates their future expansion plan. But this plan that is up on the screen right now, that only shows the conceptual location of the modular building, which is here. And
Well, I was just curious because this plan shows existing building and then it shows existing in the hash marks.
yes,
Is that existing building too?
that is existing right now. And Judy, if you can come up and answer.
You just showed the very preliminary proposed expansion.
Now, the plan on the screen, that's the part that they're proposing to expand eventually.
That and it goes along the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, this,
That and,
that whole stretch.
right.
Oh, okay.
And that is going to go,
That's what I was trying to
Toward
figure
the
out.
front of the building.
I too had a little bit of struggle trying to figure that out.
Okay, all right, so I see, it's over here, okay. I think I know
And
where
where it's placed, I don't know
it is.
specifically.
Okay,
It depends
all right. I
on,
was just curious because
where
I
they
didn't know
tell
if it
us.
was gonna, if the proposed building would have to be moved to build that or
Right,
what.
yeah, a temporary.
Would the hi. Would you state your name, please?
Judy Feinstein, you said it perfectly.
Oh, good, hi. Would the temporary building have to be relocated in order to build a new structure? Is that what we're trying to figure
I
out?
don't think so. I think the temporary is going to be further west,
Okay,
and the expansion's going to start a little bit further east.
okay. The 5-year timeframe?
That's generous.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was, okay, I was thinking it might be a little too generous, but
That's what I was looking at too.
How long do you actually need?
I would say 5 is good.
Okay,
4 is probably more realistic.
right,
3.5 probably.
okay. Well, at least you have a plan in place.
Right.
In order to move it forward.
Right,
Okay,
yes.
all righty.
The other question I had, was, there's not an existing SUP on this property, is that right?
There's,
It's
yeah,
non-conforming.
Okay, because it happened, it started up before
before.
we did that.
that's correct.
All right, I was trying to figure that out too. Otherwise,
There's nothing out
if they weren't making any changes, they would just continue on that non-conforming use and
That's right,
not have to do anything. Okay,
yeah. And in terms of the expansion, I finally figured it out.
okay.
So it's going to be to that part? So.
Okay, yeah, I think I figured that out, once I got the
Yeah.
site plan oriented towards the right street.
Right, what we have here is
Yeah.
this part of it.
Okay.
And that's the future expansion.
Okay.
Are there any other questions of Ms. Judy Feinstein?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I do have one question for staff. I totally agree with the proposal and your decision and the positive recommendation. But let's fast forward a year from now and one of the daycares that's in our city wants to grow and wants to have a temporary building. Is there a checklist, a criteria that this met, which I think did, that it can be screened from the street, screened from the properties that are adjacent? All those things that we debated for hours with the school district.
Oh, yeah.
And are we setting a really strong precedent that if someone comes in with a daycare or that wants to have a temporary building for 5 years, and they use this as an example as a green light for them to have one? Do we have an ironclad philosophy that says, well, here's the criteria for a temporary building for 5 years, you have to meet like this school did? Are we set for that? This is the only one I remember where we're saying 5 years temporary building makes sense. I totally agree with it. But the next time that microphone, there's somebody there. Are we set for that?
I'm not sure if we have a formal checklist for a situation like this, but considering this case, one of the strongest finding was that the adjacent properties have their back to the proposed location of the modular building. It's being located in such a way that you can adequately screen it and not even notice it from the public streets. So that was one of the major factors that staff.
And I totally agree with you. I'm just
It's a case-by-case thing, I think, it has to be.
But we did do
This is
some
first
modular
time-
buildings for that other,
12 Other Church.
thank you.
And other,
And-
yeah,
and
They were
other-
pretty
other
fancy. I
churches.
mean, they
They were
put a lot
nice.
of
Yeah, really
effort
fancy.
into that exterior.
And that was the
everything.
construction phase.
Yeah,
The building was still going
kind
up.
of similar.
Yeah, and I totally
I was trying to
agree.
remember, because I knew the
Just
school
hoping that-
district.
Those are temporary.
Yeah,
He comes in and says, hey, I want to have a temporary building, and there's one being put over at that school. Well, do you,
This is our yardstick.
yeah,
This is what we measure against. We measure against, is it visible? Town Creek School, you're in front of it, you don't know it's there.
yeah.
We have a body shop next to it that's going to expand. And I suspect it will, they will protect their property and the cars they're working on in such a way that, again, it will not be visible. As I looked at these and I asked Ms. Feinstein, how are you going to get it there? Because she doesn't have width on her property to move it in there. She's going to have to work with her neighbors, probably at the township shopping center, take down some fence panels and move it in that way.
Oh, she's just gonna fly it in.
Well, we could drop it with a heavy lift helicopter. We've done a few of those things in town. But, you know, the church is a bit, and they took some efforts to screen those, although they are visible from 1092. But again, they're temporary.
Yeah, but they landscaped them and they put paths to them and they put
They did.
walkway covers. I mean,
They
they
did.
tried to make it look like it as much as they could at the time, not temporary.
So we think this is a unique situation. We know there are plans to move this forward, and quite frankly, just sitting in our offices, we determined very quickly that daycare and the private school industry is very competitive here. Right across Highway 6, or almost across Highway 6 from this location, they tore down a strip center and they're rebuilding a daycare center there.
Monstrous.
Yep. It's gonna be
Monstrous.
big.
And there are other ones all over town, daycare, daycare, daycare. And our restrictions about them not being in strip centers is not slowing down the activity. We're getting standalone daycares all over town. So it's competitive, and we have a longtime business person in town. And
Our kids are going.
while that really shouldn't be part of the yardstick, it certainly plays into, we do want to preserve the businesses that we have.
How did you derive at the 5 years
In discussions,
with the applicant?
yes, with the applicant.
Is there any
And
discussion
then,
about
and
it?
then giving more time,
Was there any
because it's always
discussion with
longer.
regards to like a 3-year and 2 1-year options or something? So you can make sure you'd have a check milestone or something, or is that not reasonable in a case like this?
It certainly could be done.
But
It-
if
it-
it went longer than 5 years, they'd have to come back and get it renewed anyway.
No, I know,
right? So-
no, I know, but I'm,
It will go away as soon as the other is constructed. There will not be a need for it then.
I'd like to send this to City Council with a positive recommendation.
Thank you for your motion, Mr. O'Malley. Is there a second? Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
no, good comments, Sean.
All in favor?
Can I have the second again?
Amy?
Haney. Did we close the public hearing?
We didn't have a public
I don't
hearing.
think so.
There was nobody showed up for the
Well,
public hearing,
There's no public.
There was, would you just
Make a
make
motion, we
note?
close the public hearing.
and, second, can we do both? Oh,
Yes,
second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and just to keep it straight. As we all know, item 7C was pulled. And if there is not anything else, gentlemen, we are adjourned.